Greetings, comrades. This is Andre Aguides de Jardin with another Lost Caverns of Ixalan Cracker Pack. Good job, phone. Celebration. We got a treasure token. So, rare, uncommon, craft card, land commons. Let's go. Maybe I even did that right. Who knows? See the McMonster store. First up, we have a Dino Boy. 2 red, 4 colorless for a 6/5 trample. Colorless and a red, sack a land, draw a card, and mountain cycling for 2. I really enjoy the land cyclers. The land cyclers for 2 seem to be the good design, as they work well in limited, but don't bust pauper formats like we've seen from some of the Lord of the Rings ones. The land cyclers are better in sealed to help you with things. Just because generally in modern Magic you want to be playing a permanent on turn 2. It doesn't have to be a creature, a permanent. But that being said, if your draft goes wrong, they're a great bridge. Like, he's a great bridge. Not the best for splashing, as they all have the double mana pips in their cost, so it's not like you're getting value by splashing a red card and then using this to fix your red mana, as it will never be enough to fix for itself, even if you have like 2 sources. But it's fine. It's probably the fact it's a dinosaur and costs 6 makes it better than the ones that cost 7. The sack a land, draw a card is a fine effect, not game breaking. It's probably C. This is actually probably one of the better ones. But I'm not stoked to first pick this. Let's go Malamute Scythe. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Green, 2 colors for an artifact equipment. It enters the battlefield, attach a target creature you control. Equipped creature gets +2/+2. So on that, it's like a flash aura that gives your creature +2/+2. And then the equip cost is 4. 3 mana for flash creature gets +2/+2 isn't great. It's not bad, but it certainly is not great. I'm not looking to first pick green. I'm not looking to start there, and I'm not looking to start at like a D combat trick. Like, most combat tricks like this are just very replaceable with one another. Alright, Plundering Pirate. A red and 2 for a 3/2 Orc Pirate. When he enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. It's a C, it's fine. You'll take a 3/2. It makes additional piece of cardboard, which is really important in this format. It's an artifact, but just like the red cap goblin before him, it's replacement level. Alright, Cogwork Wrestler. Yeah, we got a wrestler. Wrestling. It's a 1/2 flash, and when it enters the battlefield, target creature and opponent controls gets -2/-0 until end of turn. There was one like this in Kaldheim that was a rogue that overperformed, and this guy is like, it will probably overperform. It probably, hopefully you want to use it to like win a combat is what you're looking to do, and then just have the 1/2. The fact it's an artifact left over is good. Ideally you want to like trade it off or use this to have another creature win combat and survive, and then chump with this so you can have it in your graveyard to craft with. It overperforms, but that being said, I think it's still just a C level card. But the package is, in this case, I think is greater than the sum of just all the parts. Alright, Unlucky Drop is blue and 3 for an instant. Target artifact or creature's controller puts on the top or bottom of their library. Cards like this almost always win the most begrudgingly playable card, like the most 23rd card. You'll put it in your deck, but you're not super happy about it. The fact they can put it at the bottom usually makes this worse than putting it at the top. Because if it's a bomb they want to draw, they'll just put it at the top again. And if it's a creature you would like them to redraw, because it's bad for tempo, they would put it at the bottom. So this is like C-, D+. It'll sometimes make your deck, but you're not really looking forward to it. Alright, here we have a potential first pick, a Braid. 1 in red, instant, 3 damage to target creature or destroy target artifact. There are a lot of expensive artifacts in this set. This can blow up. This is like a B card. This is a very strong... Abrade is always a strong card, but this is an exceptionally strong card in this format. Okay, we got Family Reunion. 1 in white, an instant, choose one. Creatures you control get +1/+1 till end of turn, or creatures you control gain hexproof until end of turn. These cards, I usually find them in green, and it does both, and they're playable. I don't think just doing one or the other is good enough. Like, when you see creature pumps, you usually want +2 power, because if you're doing, like, a go-wide strategy, +1/+1 isn't often enough. You're often attacking with a bunch of 1/1s. And yeah, you might get some 1/2s, but it's usually not enough to kill opponents. Or if they block with a 2/3, this really doesn't do anything. So this is like D-. You will sideboard it in sometimes if you have like a big bomb and your opponent is using like a braid to kill it and you think you can get to time to set it up like that. But this is like a D. Like, I don't want to put this card in my deck. Alright, Screaming Phantom, a black and a colorless for a 2/2 flying, and when he attacks, mill a card. That is all upside. A lot of new players are concerned about milling their card in case they get their bomb or whatever, but you're just as likely to hit some crummy garbage as you are a bomb. And in this format, it really is an upside because you want things in your graveyard to craft with or have to send for or something. This is like a C card. I mean, it's nowhere near a braid, but you can put this in your deck and be happy. Ironpaw Aspirant is 1 in a white for a 1/2. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. This is bumped up from the usual 1/1 that does that. We get a 1/2 instead. Probably a C+. Ideally with this, you want to play one of the 1/1 flyers. So there's a common 1/1 flyer in white and an uncommon one in blue, and that's what you want to give to the counter, and then you just want the Ironpaw Aspirant to like stick around and do things, block, be a deterrent, craft something, whatever. But this is like a C+, just because in this format there are really good, cheap targets you want to stick the 1/1 counter on. I think there's also a 1/1 Menace in black that's good for the counter, and the Flying Lifelink Bat in black is phenomenal for the counter. Alright, in a Volcano, it's a Caveland, enters taps for a red, or a red and 4 to sack it to discover 4. I talked in length in my video about my first video about volcanoes, so I'm not going to go over that here. Your first one in most decks is a C+. Otherwise, I'm less high on them this set. Alright. Tilling Blade, 1 black, 1 colorless for an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature, and you can craft with a creature. And on the back, it is, when you have upkeep, each opponent loses life and you gain a life. The best use of this is actually to have in the black-white decks, or even just mono-black, sacrifice it as fodder. It's fine as an edict. It gets a lot better when you're on the play. Edicts themselves, and by edicts I mean sacrifice a creature, they themselves aren't particularly great, because if they have 2 creatures, you're going to always get the worst one. This one performs a bit better, because if you play it on turn 2, you can then, or use it to kill their first creature, it then is just a piece of rectangle to do something with. That being said, nowhere near Braid. Probably C-, which is actually an upgrade. I would give most edicts like a D. Yeah. Alright. Geological Appraiser. 2 red, 2 colorless. For a 3/2 human artificer, when he enters the battlefield, discover 3. This card is phenomenal, and I can't believe 2 decks last night had 3 copies of it. This is like, you are always happy to play a 3/2 for 4 draw card, and this is better than that. Because you can just put the spell in your hand, or you can just cast it. This is like a B+. This probably beats out a Braid. Like, 4-drops are generally very replaceable, but this is a 4-drop I am stoked to have in my deck. Alright, Cavernous Mott's land cave, tap for colorless, and 2 mana, it becomes a 3/3 elemental creature until end of turn. It's still a cave. Activate only if the number of other caves you control plus the number of caves in your graveyard is 3 or greater. I am not high on the cave deck. People at the beginning of the format were talking about it being like the gate deck because there's Gates Ablaze in the set, or Gates Ablaze, which was like deals damage to creatures equal to the number of gates. There's one for that for cave, but it doesn't have the other great things Gates had going for them. Specifically, they were 2 colors. The payoffs for the Gates was like a 2/2 Vig Goat that grew bigger for each gate you had, and an 8/8. Where this one, it's like a 7/6 and some bats. I'm not saying the Caves deck will never come together, but it's probably going to come together a lot less often. I don't think it's a premium deck. This is like a D, and the fact it doesn't tap for colored mana really hurts it a lot. Actually, this is a D. You know what? I'm going to say this is an F. You are probably right if you never put this in. Right more than wrong if you never put this into your deck. In reality, it's a D-, but even in the Caves deck, I don't know if it's right, because it doesn't help fix your mana. And mana bases in Limited are terrible, and having a colorless mana really, really hinders you. So I'm going to go out and say, for anybody who's watching this, you're probably correct never to put this in your deck. Alright, one of my favorite, Deep Cavern Bats. It's 1 and a black for a 1/1 flying lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, look at target opponent's hand. You may exile a non-land card under the bats until it leaves the battlefield. Love this card. This card is a premium pairing with this card. You play this card, you get the removal spell or their flyer out of the hand, you stick a counter on them, you go to town. Very strong card. Probably, and the other thing that he has going for him is with the map tokens, there's a lot of ways to make him to a 2/2 flyer, and the difference between a 1/1 flying flyer and a 2/2 flyer is enormous. Same with lifelink. So this is like, I'm going to say B-. I think it's worse than a Braid in the Geological Appraiser. But if you want to play black, I wouldn't blame you for just picking him. What do we have here? Ooh, 7 mana. Artifact creature gnome enters the battlefield with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. Sounds like a Triskelion or Pavilion or something like that. When he enters the battlefield or attacks, create a number of 1/1 Golem artifact tokens equal to its power. So it's a 3/3 and it makes 3 1/1s with it. That's very good. And sacrifice another artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on him. This is probably like a C+ level card. 7 mana is a lot. And I'm not super stoked on just a 3/3 and 3 1/1s for 7 mana, though that's fine. I really want to attack with him once before I feel like I've got my 7 mana worth. And then if he dies, it's fine because I've just made so many rectangles. The best reason to pick him over the other cards is he can end up in your deck no matter what. I'm still not going to pick him here. I think the other 3 cards are just better. And I am taking the Archaeologist. I just think the 3/2 that comes along with a spell is the most phenomenal. If you took the Bat or a Braid, it might be fine. I'm not even sure if the Archaeologist is better than a Braid, but that is my pick. I hope you all found this enjoyable, and this is Andre Agdes Desjardins signing out.